We got to start letting shame do its job. We really have to start letting shame do its job. Now, in this video, I am going to challenge myself to do something that I shy away from doing or steer clear of doing, which is talking about something or a thought that I've been holding that deeply annoys me. I have been annoyed half of the day about what I'm going to be talking about. And here is like a warning before I get even more into talking about letting shame do its job. This will be probably an unpopular opinion. And if you are the type of person who can't take accountability for your actions, can't take accountability for how you affect others, if you're the type of person who can't be honest with others and can't even be honest with yourself, then you definitely want to go ahead and click off now. Okay, now that we've got that on the way, for the people who choose to stay and want to hear another perspective that I believe is something very helpful to consider, then pull up a seat and share your thoughts in the comments. So yeah, today I had a friend send me something that was deeply, deeply disappointing. And what she sent me got me to thinking about how people rush to jump in before letting shame do its job. And what I mean by that is shame can be very helpful. It can help you realize when you cross a boundary, cross a line. It can help you realize when you're out of alignment with who it is that you say you are and your values. But if you never allow yourself to sit in shame, you're going to keep repeating those same patterns and habits and mistakes that you may feel make you a flawed person. Now, we all do have flaws, and none of us are perfect. And we say those things even to kind of like glaze over sitting in shame fully or taking responsibility fully for the choices that we make, for the actions that we decide to do. And we make a mistake once. We rush away from sitting in the shame of the mistake we made because it makes us feel uncomfortable. We don't realize that we're suppressing it. And then we're going to keep getting more and more and more of those same feelings because we're going to keep repeating those same behaviors because we have not allowed ourselves to sit with shame and learn from what the shame is there to teach us. And I feel like we do that with a lot of emotions that we deem negative. But if these emotions were not helpful, we would not have them. We would not be created to feel these negative emotions if they were not here to be helpful. And I'm very passionate about this. I am, because it's firing me up, because I feel like we need to take accountability. Even I had to allow myself to sit with shame. So this is not me coming off trying to sound superior or like I haven't done anything that's shameful. Like even last year, I participated in loser behavior. And I continued to participate in loser behavior because I would not let myself sit in the shame that the loser behavior was causing. But once I allowed myself to sit in that shame, I am no longer participating in that loser behavior, because me sitting with the shame allowed me to get back into alignment with my values and who it is that I say that I am and what I believe. And just in case you're curious, the loser behavior that I was participating in was behavior that could have possibly caused great hurt to another woman. And that's not something that I'm about. But I allow myself to get out of alignment with who it is that I say I am. And I continue to participate in that behavior because I would not sit in the shame of what I was doing, that I knew was not right, that I knew was not integral, that I knew was not honorable. But I kept doing it because I was trying to avoid the reality of the situation. And this particular situation that has me fired up isn't even the person in particular that was even directly related to the shameful event. But this was somebody who was projected onto this situation because they probably had a similar experience. They was rushing to give the other person grace and understanding because they was probably like, oh, I'm going to rush and give this person grace and understanding because that's the same thing I would want for myself if this was me. But we can't do that in every situation. And this is coming from a person who questions herself daily and challenges herself daily to hold the nuance and complexity of human behavior and human beings. Because I know every situation is not one size fits all. And I know that we can't always look at things in black and white because there may be a little something different in every situation. And I do believe that people deserve grace and understanding. But I also believe that people should allow shame to do its job. We have to sit with it for a little bit. Or if we don't, we're going to keep making those same mistakes that are harmful to ourselves and to others. And if you are a person who does not want to be harmful to yourself and to others, then a part of being true to that is allowing shame to do its job so you don't repeat behaviors that are harmful to yourself and others. Now, I'm not saying get in shame and sit in there and condemn yourself to that spot, but I am saying I believe that it is important to sit with it long enough to correct behaviors that are not helpful. This is my people. Usually I get on here with my calm, warm, nurturing mother voice, but this the other side of my mother voice and my mother tone. This is the other side of it. Because that really stirs something in me. And this is really me tempering my words. Because if I would have spoke when I first got stirred up, I don't think I would be, I think my words would be more harmful than helpful. And that's not who I am trying to be. That's not, I don't feel like that's helpful. So I held it for a minute. I thought about it. I laid down. I took a nap. When I got back up, it still was on me heavy. So I was like, I'm going to talk about this tonight. But when I talk about it, I want to talk about it with a little bit more tact, a little bit more grace, and a little bit more care. Because I realize I have a responsibility with my words. I realize I have a responsibility with my consideration of people who will hear my words, people who will see my words. I haven't always gotten that right. And I haven't always allowed myself to just sit with the fact that I haven't gotten it right. But the more experiences I have, the older I get, the more I realize it's important to sit with those things that we try to rush past because they make us uncomfortable. It's all necessary. It's all necessary. And when you realize how avoiding that stuff keeps you stunted, don't allow you to have the genuine connections that you desire or the level of relationships that you desire. You make an effort to do better when it comes to handling those things that while they are maybe uncomfortable, they are necessary. And I really want to go on for 30 minutes with this, but I'm not. I'm going to leave it here for the most part tonight because I am still processing this stuff, some of this stuff. I just really wish we had more care when we use our words and more consideration when we use our words and more like more willingness to do more good than harm. Like more willingness to really count the cost of our actions, our behaviors, of our like I can't always I'm trying to think of I can't think of how I really want to say it, but I just really wish that we really realize the amount of responsibility we have when we are interacting with people, in community with people, to treat them with the integrity, to treat ourselves with integrity, to move with integrity. We don't have to agree with everything somebody does or says, but if we are trying to really call people up and not call them out, because there's a difference. Calling people out is where you're just really I can't think. I can't think of the difference right now. Calling people up is where you're being helpful, and calling people out is not helpful. But it was another way I was going with it, and I can't correctly articulate it. But I'll circle back to that in another video sometime, sure. But basically, essentially what I'm saying is, if you want to correct people because you feel like outside of y'all disagreeing that your perspective can really be helpful, and you want it to stick, and you want them to be able to truly consider it, you want to call them up because you know that they can do. They have it in them. They have it in themselves to do better for themselves. So you call them up without bypassing things or projecting your own experience into theirs, and allowing the natural emotions that we have to do the job that it's supposed to do. And yeah. And I was going to hit on, what giving people too much grace and understanding can do too, but I'll save that for another day and another time. If this is your first time here, then I apologize that you're not getting the more soft and more warm tone that I usually talk with, but this was something that was really pulling at me and I had to talk about it. But my name is Latrice. Here's where I think out loud, reflect honestly, and name patterns that keep us stuck. If anything I said in this video resonates with you, feel free to take it. If it didn't, feel free to leave it. And I will be back tomorrow.